Some animals do pretty extraordinary things. For example, giraffes clean their eyes and ears with their tongues. Snakes see through their eyelids, and some snails can hibernate for 3 years. With millions of animal species living on our planet, it's no surprise that we have some facts about them completely wrong. In this video, we'll try to bust some myths about animals.
Myth number 1. Sharks can smell your blood from miles away.
Don't get it wrong. Sharks do have an extremely acute sense of smell, and they could probably smell the scent of blood from a few football fields away. But even that extraordinary system cannot detect things from miles away. According to the American Museum of Natural History, some sharks can detect blood at 1 part per 10 billion, which is the equivalent of a drop of blood in an Olympic-sized pool. Impressive, but still not miles.
Myth number 2. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Simply because a dog is approaching its senior years doesn't imply that it cannot learn a new trick or two. In truth, with approximately 15 minutes of training each day for 2 weeks, even the most adamant dog can normally learn how to stay, fetch, roll over or any other trick, regardless of age. The saying is meant to be taken much less literally about dogs, and more about human beings.
Myth number 3. Giraffes sleep for only 30 minutes a day.
This misconception doesn't seem to have any basis. As far as diurnal animals go, giraffes have fairly normal sleeping patterns. To debunk this one, researchers from European Sleep Research Society closely monitored a herd of 5 adult and 3 young giraffes for 152 days, counting all of their naps and deep sleeps. The animals typically slept overnight and napped in the afternoon. In total, each giraffe slept about 4.6 hours every day.
Myth number 4. Never touch a baby bird, else mama bird will abandon it.
The reason behind this myth is the assumption that a mother bird would abandon its youth, for the simple fact that a human had touched it. Birds have a very limited sense of smell, and a little amount of scent left by touching a baby bird will surely not get detected by its mother. In fact, birds are very sincere in upbringing their young, and are unlikely to leave the nest because humans touched it, although they have been known to abandon their nests due to disturbance. Moreover, specialists say that the best thing to help a baby bird is to find its nest and put it back immediately. If you do that, the mother bird will most likely treat that baby as if it had never left.
Myth number 5. Bats are really blind? The famous proverb, "as blind as a bat," has made us believe that bats are literally blind. Contrary to what most people believe, bats are generally not blind at all, and in fact are believed to have eyesight keener than that of most humans. Most fruit-eating bats, for example, have large bulging eyes that help them find their way and locate food by sight. But those that hunt for insects at night need to rely a lot more on other senses in the dark. These creatures make up for low visibility by seeing with their ears, and they do this by using a technique called echolocation. A bat echolocates by sending out streams of high-pitched sounds through its mouth or nose. These signals then bounce off nearby objects and send back echoes. By reading these echoes with its super-sensitive ears, the bat can determine the location, distance, size, texture and shape of an object in its environment. Myth number 6. Snakes tune to charming music.
One of the most delicate forms of street arts, snake charming can be very engaging to watch. If you see these street performers, you will inevitably think it would be amazing to learn this art, in order to get the snakes to move around. The truth is that, the snake does not care at all about the song the guy is playing. Though, they are not completely deaf, but they cannot hear human voices or music, or even sound of a firing bullet at all. They can perceive very low frequency sounds only. Actually, they respond to the movement of the snake charmer and his flute.
Myth number 7. The color red really makes bulls angry.
We probably have to thank cartoons and movies for this common misconception. Most people believe that bulls have an especially violent reaction to the color red. Actually, bulls, along with all other cattle, are colorblind to red. This myth was busted by the Discovery Channel in its famous series Mythbusters in 2007. They tested a live bull on color versus movement in separate experiments. First, they put 3 stationary flags of 3 different colors, including red, in the bull's enclosure. The bull charged all 3 regardless of color. Next, they put 3 dummies dressed in 3 different colors, including red, in the ring, and again the bull charged all 3 without discrimination.
Myth number 8, camels have a hump of water.
We generally know that camels can walk for a long time. They drink gallons of water. This makes some people believe that they store that water in those big humps on their backs. Those humps are there for a reason, but certainly not to store water. Yeah, this is a myth that many of us believed. On the contrary, the humps are used to store fat for the camel to use as energy during long walks.
Myth number 9, HIV spread through chimps.
Scientists are unanimous that HIV spread from chimpanzees. Some people think that it happened because of humans having physical relations with chimps. But this is incorrect. HIV crossed from chimps to humans in the 1920s, in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. This was probably as a result of chimps carrying the simian immunodeficiency virus, SIV, a virus closely related to HIV, being hunted and eaten by people living in the area. Therefore, the first human infection most likely happened because of blood-to-blood contact.
Myth number 10, do lemmings commit suicide?
Animals are never known for their suicidal tendencies. The myth of lemmings committing suicide is both legendary and long-standing, starting back in the 1530s, when a geographer proposed that they fell from the skies during storms. This particular myth is based on some actual lemming behaviors. Lemmings have population booms every 3 to 4 years. When the concentration of lemmings becomes too high in one area, a large group would set out in search of a new home. Lemmings can swim, so if they reach a water obstacle, such as a river or lake, they may try to cross it. Inevitably, a few individuals drown due to exhaustion. But it's hardly suicide. The myth was also fueled by the 1958 Academy Award-winning documentary that showed the lemmings leaping to their deaths, but the scene was later busted for being staged.
Myth number 11, ostriches hide their heads in the sand in case of fear.
This myth has become so deeply ingrained in our culture, that telling you that it is false might raise some eyebrows. When you think about it again, it does not seem to be a very effective way to defend from predators. Moreover, they, or anyone else will not be able to breathe if they bury their heads in the sand. What may have supported this myth is the fact that they bury their eggs in ground, and often turn eggs with their beaks. From a distance it might look as if they are trying to hide their heads. They might also get down close to the ground to try and camouflage themselves from predators, but they never bury their heads in the sand.
That's all for this time. Thank you for watching. Hope you would have enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share.